at the screen. Okay, Kerryman has joined. It's like D tried to call me. Okay, we are live. Yes. A very good evening, Nigeria. Good evening, wherever you are. It's if it's morning, if it's afternoon, not to worry. Just welcome to another day of test transmission on Foscolo TV. My name is Ufuma, your host, your anchor for the show this evening. This is Foscolo TV, just in case you are tuning in for the very first time. And we're streaming on three platforms: Facebook at Ufoma Egbamuno, Twitter at Foscolo, and of course on YouTube, our main channel. The YouTube channel is Foscolo TV. I've got a great panel here. Of Nigerian football. A few days, the first chief outcome beside smiling. Super Eagles did you proud this evening, right?
Yeah, they did me proud. They did us proud generally because um, it's a regular scenario for them. They don't like doing things the easy way, and it's one of the reasons we are here. So even when we get to the playoff the hard way, even in the playoff itself, they are still progressing the hard way. So in the end, I'm happy. They did us proud. Good evening, and I don't know if it's evening wherever you're watching, but it's so nice to join you on the show.
Wherever you're watching, if it's morning, good morning to you. If it's afternoon, good afternoon. If it's evening, like it is in Nigeria here, good evening. I've also got China Acheru. I'm thinking of removing him, but I'll just let him be here. China, good evening to you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Why not? I can hear you. Super Eagles won today. Pisaya was on my show this morning. I like how he ended his session. He said, by the grace of God and Victor Osimhen will qualify or will win. So what we saw today was actually by the grace of God and Victor Osimhen. Even though he missed a sitter, but he went on to get a brace. So thank God we've qualified up next on Sunday against either of Cameroon or Congo DR.
Okay, just in case again you just joined us, this is Foscolo TV. Thank you to all 11 of you who are here already. Hopefully, we will get as many of you as possible. I would also love you to join in the conversation. We want to talk about Nigeria's Super Eagles, and of course, that hard-fought 4-1 victory we just had over the Panthers of Gabon. First things first, guys. China, I watched the game with you. Um, there was not much panic. We thought we had won, only for our cable TV to go off because of the rains. And we found a way to watch the game via our phones. Just as we were thinking about will the news on our stations go on or not, Gabon equalized. How did you feel when he went to 1-1?
I felt not again. Not again. I mean, I felt, why do we have to do this to ourselves? It was a cagey first half. In fact, the first half, we know we're talking, and we're like, listen, these two teams are not really playing well. The midfield of both sides were really, really open. We saw lots of, a couple of misplaced passes, and it was like both teams were being too careful. But all of a sudden, the second half, first Nigeria woke up, then the Gabonese took over, and then we got that goal through what I would call a gift. And just when we thought, we could just sneak in one goal to nothing, the Gabonese equalized. Listen, it's football. And if these two sides were that great, they won't be in the playoffs. Let's face it. They won't be in the playoffs. Yes, by pedigree or by, Yes, by name, Nigeria should be a great football playing nation in Africa. But our last year or two have not been very good. But eventually, we got to win at 1-1. I felt like not another game ending in a draw and extra time. Can we really pull it off this time? But listen, it worked for us eventually. We can only look back at the game and say, at least we're in the next round. Then let's think of what happens next.
Mm. Fisaya, I'm trying the same question to you now. Um, Full time. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
So we can.
Okay. I don't. I think the network is really terrible today, so struggling a bit right here. But we move. What's your general reaction, Fisayo? Seeing us go through the hard way, like China just mentioned, we got the goal just when we thought we had done enough, conceded. If I'm not if I'm being honest with you, I still have not seen that equalizer because I wasn't watching it at the time. And then, of course, we got into the second round, or rather the extra time, and then we more or less demolished 4 goals to 1. Your general assessments of that game?
Yeah, if I should start from the question you asked, Ikwereman, I will say that when we conceded, um, I didn't feel bad actually because it was 30 minutes extra. I knew the game would not go to extra time. As a matter of fact, my wife is listening to me now. When she came out, when they wanted to start the extra time, she was because she had some TV programs to catch up with. Because I told her no, the game will not go into penalties. So I'm that confident. But having seen the energy we exerted in the first half, I knew we would have problems in the second half. From that first half, and that's why when I tweeted at halftime, I mentioned 4 players whose legs were gone. I mentioned Chukwueze, I mentioned Bright Osai Samuel, I mentioned Wilfred Ndidi, and maybe one other player. And of course, Lukman was basically the only player that I think did not do well in the first half. So towards the end of the first half, maybe in the last 10 minutes, we saw that the Gabonese were now coming into the game because something was clearly going through my mind in that first half. In the last 10 minutes, I said, now it's obvious to us all why Eric Chelsea's teams always struggle in the second half. If they don't get into the lead quickly in the first half, they burn so much energy because of its formation. So I knew that the Gabonese sat back and then were the ones running here and there. So with what they showed me in the 10 minutes of second half, 10 minutes of first half, in the last 10 minutes, I knew there would be a problem in the second half. And because I knew it would not rush into making changes because these coaches don't always want to remove senior players. And when we started the second half, it was that. They grew in influence, they became more confident, basically, mostly because our players that were running the Antonio Conte way in the first 30 minutes of the game, the legs are no longer there because these players are playing for World Cup qualification. If they are not playing for World Cup qualification, they will not run as much as they are doing. They will just stay to play the professional way, but they know that this is the only way we can get results. So it's against their bodies. So the moment we equalized, I felt well. Um, Although at that point we had switched formation from his 4-4-2 to a 4-3-3, it was good because we now have bodies in midfield. But I was I was a little bit worried about how we will create chances because having both Aqua Adams and Osimhen up front means that we always have bodies inside the box whenever we are building up. But at that point, Aqua Adams had been sacrificed from Yeka at 1-0 before we considered that equalizer, which was silly, especially from Osai. So, but by and large, I knew that if the game goes into extra time, we are going to score. We are going to beat them. And we had 2 glorious chances to even win it in a 12 minutes of stoppage time, both to Osimhen, which he did not take. So those were enough pointers for me that at extra time, we will surely be these ones.
Fisayo, that Osimhen miss just before the full time whistle went. I mean, if there was anybody that will close our eyes, hold our hands, and sing Kumbaya and say that person will score the goal, that would be Osimhen. But listen, maybe just shows it's human.
Absolutely, he is. And when he missed that chance, memories of AFCON 2023 in January last year came back to me because in the first game against Equatorial Guinea, I still watched highlights of the games like a few days ago. Osimhen missed a couple of gifted chances, and that game defined his tournament. After that game, he now decided to pick up the mantle of creation, not necessarily scoring. So he was sacrificing himself for the team to get goals because Nigerians turned on him. And Nigerians, we don't have joy. What you did in the past does not speak for you in the present. That's how Nigerian football fans are. So, like you said at that point, especially the first goal against Benin Republic in Uyo last month, we were in the stadium together, and I was telling people that that first goal was not as easy as it looked. A pass from Chukwueze, he spun the offside trap, and kept his composure to finish beyond the goalkeeper. If he had missed that opportunity, we will not be playing this game today. But
Mm.
converting that chance at that point calmed all nerves, allowed the players to settle, and then got us the result. So tonight, you've seen that that thing against Benin was an act of God because against Gabon, where such an opportunity, he had even more time, more space because he picked up the ball from the halfway line, raced through and goal. He had options. He could decide to round the goalkeeper. He could slot it under the goalkeeper. He could bend it to the left, but he rather chose off target. So, but I was just 100% confident we will beat them in extra time because there was one thing that I held on to since last month after that game against Benin, that this team will qualify for the World Cup, but they will suffer for it. So part of that suffering is having to play two extra games or three, as it's case, but for now two. And part of that suffering also, especially okay, don't let me say what I wanted to say. So part of that suffering is also
what,
playing.
what is it you wanted to say?
No, it might take us to another conversation, but I don't want to quickly digress
You
into
may
that.
take us to where
So
we don't want to go.
so no,
You don't want
I trust
you
the
don't want
show.
to take
We
us
will get there.
anywhere.
No, we will still get there. I trust you, but I don't want to jump the gun to move there so that we can still talk a little more about the game. So I felt okay. Playing extra 30 minutes is also these boys suffering more. And the moment the extra time started, within 5 minutes of extra time, I saw Mario Lemina, who is the workhorse of the Gabonese, holding his waist, jaded. I said, you guys are in trouble. If Lemina can be this jaded, then we have no other persons. And it's not a surprise that we scored 3 goals and could have easily scored more if we wanted to.
All right, guys. Apologies. I'm having a bit of technical issue. Like I did
Don't
say,
worry, please. Ufama, can you please apologize less? We are all
okay.
in the same country.
You know, just for the benefit of those who may have just
Courtesy.
joined in and they're hearing my voice and they can't see my face. Honestly, I have no idea why that is, but it is test transmission of Foscolo TV. We're just trying to check things out. If you can see the right hand top of the corner on Fisayo's part. That's the name of the podcast. It's called Full Time. The name of this particular show is called Full Time. So we'll be having at least 3 different podcasts on this channel. The channel is Foscolo TV on YouTube. Please like, subscribe to the channel because so much is coming your way. Like I did say, we've got about at least 3 podcasts. One of them is Full Time. Full Time is where we'll be discussing everything football across the world. And of course, Nigeria versus Gabon is football. That's why it's on this channel. We have another podcast. It's called Top 4 Plus 1. Top 4 Plus 1 podcast. Well, that's the podcast where we'll be talking about the biggest clubs in the Premier League. And I'm talking Manchester United, the champions Liverpool, the former champions Arsenal, even if it's 21 years ago they won, and of course Chelsea, and there's not forgetting Manchester City. That is the five biggest or top five clubs in the Premier League. That's a different podcast on its own. Once again, it's called Top 4 Plus 1. And then for all of you Arsenal fans, in case you do not know, let me tell you, I am an Arsenal fan and I'm a proud gunner, even if we've not won the league in 21 years. Um, there is another podcast, especially for only Arsenal fans or haters who want to know about Arsenal. It's called Niger Ghana Pod. So these three podcasts will be coming your way in a matter of weeks. All we're just doing right now is test transmission. Let's get back into the conversation. I already have a ticker running underneath. Who was your man of the match? Guys, for everyone tuned in now, I would love to hear from you. Who was your man of the match? If you're watching on YouTube, please reply in the comment section. If you're watching from Twitter, because we're on Twitter too, at Foskolo, you can also reply. And of course, we'll put out your comments on the screen and say hello to you. Back to the conversation about Nigeria and Gabon. Currently, Cameroon versus Congo DR is currently going on. We're in the 90th minute. 5 minutes of additional time has been given. These people are still playing 0-0. Be like, we'll go get another extra time. Good for us, guys. Let them go extra time so that the same exhaustion we put out in our own game, playing 120 minutes, whoever we're going to meet on Sunday is also going to be slightly tired after playing 120 minutes. China, right?
Certainly. But today is Thursday. We have until Sunday. I'm to have a full day to
Oh, a
recover
goal has just
tomorrow.
been scored. My goodness. Congo DR has just scored from a
DR
corner kick.
Congo. Wow.
Whoa.
Oh my goodness.
That's the
Just
team
when
I
I
dread
was talking.
most.
Are you for real? I thought Cameroon would have been worse off for to be honest with you. I haven't seen Cameroon lately, so I honestly do not know how good or how bad they are. But Congo DR have just scored off a corner kick. Guys, it looks like in the next 4 or 5 minutes we might have the person or the country or the team, the Super Eagles, will be playing on Sunday.
Yeah.
Okay.
Listen,
Equal man. Yeah.
Cameroon or Congo DR. A lot of us, when we hear the name Cameroon, we still shiver based on the Cameroon of the 80s, 90s, and maybe early noughties. But let's face it, in the past 5, 10 years, in fact, the Cameroonian team has not been. Remember, they were in our World Cup group in the World Cup qualifier rounds of 2018. I remember us beating them with 4-1 in New York and drawing against them in their own country. Congo DR, listen, whichever one comes our way, we'll face them on Sunday. For me, it didn't matter whether it was Cameroon or was Congo DR. It did not matter. I just hope that Nigeria will qualify and also win on Sunday. So let's bring it on. Bring it on. Whoever you are, bring it on.
Fisa, you made mention of the fact that Congo DR is, in your thoughts, the more difficult opponent for us. Please, could you, for the benefit of those watching for Skolo TV right now, explain why you would have preferred us to play Cameroon?
Okay. I do think that there are a more physical side. You know, although I did not say it out, but by the 60th minute of the game, I just thought to myself, no, this game is ending goalless. I didn't even know the goal will come in the 90th minute because the game had no rhythm, it had no pattern. It's two rugby style teams. And the Congolese, you know how Congo are. They are always physical, very athletic. They have Wan-Bissaka in their team, although he got injured and he continued. But I hope that it affects him because I don't want to face Wan-Bissaka. I don't want to put Wan-Bissaka against Lookman. You know, they have Chancellor Mbemba. They have a number of physical players. and they they don't have players, they don't have flashy players. So that's why such teams um, traditionally pose more threats to the Super Eagles than teams that have players like Mbumo or like Zambo Anguissa, even if he missed today's game, you know, like a young, players in Europe, So yes, the Congolese players are also in Europe, but it's in them. But like China said, whoever it is, we have to play and we have to win. And maybe that will also help us to. I'm sure the players will have been watching the game by now. But at this point, that is something I kept repeating, which I tweeted after the game against Benin, before the draws for the playoff was confirmed. I said the teams that can beat Nigeria with Osimhen on the pitch in Africa, they are not more than four. And all of them have qualified automatically. So even some people argue that they are not more than two, but let me be liberal. The teams in Africa that can beat the Super Eagles when Osimhen is on the pitch in this 2025, they're not more than Morocco, Cote d'Ivoire, Senegal, and maybe Egypt. So whoever it is, like I said earlier, the
Bring it
players have
on.
signed up. Yes, like I said earlier, the players have signed up for suffering. So it's just like the biblical rapture. Anybody that misses the rapture will have to go through great tribulations
Tribulation,
to
tribulation. Pastor
to
Pikin,
to save
bringing all
himself.
the Bible
You know,
verses here.
so in the end, what's it called? Congo might push us here and there and there, but I still expect us to have more quality than them and outlast them in the end.
Okay. Guys, who was your man of the match today? I know Victor Osimhen scored 2 goals. Um, so it's very easy to give him that accolade. But having watched all 120 minutes of that game, China, let me start with you. Who was your man of the match?
In today's world, that everything football is about goals and assists, many people will give it to Victor Osimhen for his 2 goals. But having watched that game, we would have long been out of the game before Osimhen scored. If not for Benjamin Francis, if not for him, would have long been out of that game. He did a massive job in defense, a massive job. And even one of Osimhen's
Himself
goals was his assist when he went forward. So for me, my man of the match would be Benjamin Francis.
Fiscal.
Yeah, I disagree with Ikwere man because
Okay.
because his name is not Benjamin Francis. He's taking us back to the former Heartland left back, Benjamin Francis. His name is Benjamin Frederick.
Benjamin
Fredericks.
Frederick.
Don't
Okay, is
mind
that why
him.
you disagree with me for the
Don't
name?
mind him. He's old people. He's old people. That somebody okay. I think it's full time. It's now full time.
Yeah.
So it's official. Nigeria is going to face DR Congo in the final on Sunday. It is official. DR Congo has just beaten they've just beaten Cameroon by a goal to nothing. Sorry, I'm posting different things on 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 the live stream. So can we get Africa's ticket? That's the question now. Now we know our opponent. We're playing TR
But
Congo.
you've not
Can we
allowed me
get
to answer the
Let me
man of the
finish
match.
this agreement with me.
my bad, Fisayo, my bad. Please, let's talk about your man of the match. You said it's not Fredericks for you.
Yeah. So no, okay, I disagree on the name, but
Okay.
before the show, part of my work, the final editorial work I was doing, I did the player ratings for the match for acsports.com, and I I gave. Let me read out Benjamin Frederick. What I wrote about Benjamin Frederick. I gave him 9/10. So I said the only reason he is not getting a 10 from me is simply because I always reserve perfection for God. What a talent. What a discovery. He then capped a performance for the ages with a sublime assist. The leader of defense for the next decade is born. So that's Benjamin Frederick. I only rated Osimhen 7/10, and I said it there that strange that he had just 7/10 despite scoring a brace. I said that's because it was a good reason we did not win in 90 minutes with a couple of
True that.
uncharacteristic misses. He gets his pass mark by atoning, especially with the last Osimhen trademarked goal. So no questions about the fact that Benjamin Frederick was the best player. And it was after the Benin game. I did a video, one of my series, about one of the things that have held the Super Eagles back for a long time is the fact that we don't want to bring in new players to the team. The players in the team find a way, I can't go into details, not to want to leave it, not to want to leave the team. So they try to block new players from coming in. Now, look at three players that made their Super Eagles debuts in 2025. These three players, since making their debuts, they have become a deserved mainstay in the team. Number one is Benjamin Frederick. Played at the Under-20 World Cup just 2 years ago, made his debut after the season ended at the Unity Cup, and he is now our best defender, no questions. The second player, Ako Adams, made his debut last month away to Lesotho, scored a fantastic goal, started with Osimhen in Benin, in Uyo, didn't score, but had a very good display. Today, he has scored as well. And the third player is Tolu Lope Arokodare. Tolu is the only player to have ensured that in this World Cup qualifying series, we win a game with Osimhen not on the pitch. Against Rwanda in Uyo, Osimhen was injured in the first half. Instead for Chel to bring in Tolu, it was a bizarre decision for him to introduce Cyril Dessers. But when he saw that, no way, at halftime, he introduced Tolu Arokodare. And Arokodare's performance that day, also he scored a goal, held up play on flick. Since that day, and Aquada's performance, look at this window. We have just 3 strikers invited. Now, 2 new strikers. They have ensured that we are not going back to Iheanacho. We are not going back to Boniface. We are not going back to Paul Onuachu despite scoring 1,000,000 goals in Turkey. We are not going back to Umar Sadiq. Imagine if we do what they do in Europe, whenever a player is in form, whenever a player does well consistently for a first division club, within a month he gets an invite. Even if after that invite, the following month he doesn't he doesn't play well and is not invited. Imagine how we base our national team on such merit. We won't be having these issues. So look at Benjamin Frederick. But I'm sure the point has been made. So I'm so happy that even as difficult as it is for new players to enter the team, we have them struggling to enter and keeping their spot. What could have nailed it for me? I said it somewhere yesterday. I also tweeted it when the lineup came out. I prayed that Chel would bench Lookman for Moses Simon today. Lookman has been horrendous throughout this World Cup qualifying series. He was suspended against Benin. I tweeted also before that Benin game that I had a feeling that Chukwueze will be decisive for us in that game. And after the game, people were coming to me as prophet, blah, blah. And there was something I thought. Chukwueze had not started for the team since the home and away games against Rwanda in March. Against Rwanda and Zimbabwe in March. So knowing that Lookman is suspended, He knew that it was a golden chance for him to start, and he delivered 2 assists. So if he had started both Simon and Chukwueze today, Lookman on the bench, it is putting those on the pitch under pressure. It is also telling Lookman that, boy, I'm the African Player of the Year, but I am not good enough to enter the starting 11. But see what happened? He has started Lookman today, and he was our worst player in the 1 hour he played. That's how national team should be. These are the little things that coaches do to make the team competitive and to consistently get results. Sorry, I'm talking too much.
No. Valid points you actually raised there. Very valid points. I thought that in the last game we played, um, what's his name? The man you just mentioned, Lukman was horrendous. Like he was atrocious. His touches were terrible. Couldn't beat his man. When he eventually did, he was not finding the right man.
Yeah.
Down to the fact that he had issues at Atalanta the start of the season. His supposed move away from the club that did not come through. I just put it down to that. So I wasn't honestly expecting um the African Footballer of the Year to actually be the first man on the list in terms of starting the game today. As much as Moses Simon is not necessarily my cup of tea, because sometimes his decision
Mhm.
making can be quite can leave a lot to be desired. But you could see, like you did say, he was a lot more effective in terms of creating those chances. But all in all, um, irrespective of those selections, irrespective of the performance, irrespective of Victor Osimhen not getting that much needed goal when all of us thought he would score with the last kick of the game, the Super Eagles still made it to the final. Now, all of this result from today would not matter if we are unable to do it against DR Congo on Sunday. Ikwereman, are you confident that the team you saw this evening, Desire says there are not teams in Africa that can beat a Super Eagles that has, that has Victor Osimhen in it. Are you confident we will get Africa's ticket? By the way, for all 80 plus of you listening to the watching the show right now, you can tell us what you think. We have the question running on the ticker. Can the Super Eagles get Africa's only ticket? Would love to hear from you. Send in your comments. We would love to hear from you on that one. China, you go ahead.
Talking about confidence, right? I agree with Fisaya when he says that there are not many teams that can beat Nigeria with Osimhen on the pitch. But then we have to be first sure Osimhen will be on the pitch. Between today and Sunday is 3 days. Anything can happen. So what if on the eve of the game we hear, God forbid, God really forbid, we hear Osimhen can't play the next day because of he had a knock in training or because of something. So with Osimhen on the
I beg.
pitch, I think exactly that's everyone's prayer. God, I beg. So with Osimhen on the pitch, I think that we have a chance because even when the team has a bad day, there isn't about him. He can just make something out of nothing. But you see, with the Super Eagles these days, we cannot be sure of what team will turn up on the day. We can't be sure until we actually see the team and see what happens. But one thing we all agree, even though no one is 100% sure, is that if Nigeria makes it out of the Africa playoffs, that it's almost a done deal at the intercontinental playoff, that the most difficult games for us will be at the Africa playoffs. So for me, I want to rejoice with today's win. I want to have a good sleep. I want to sleep with a smile on my face tonight. Then by tomorrow, while the players are in recovery, I can also be in recovery and think of Sunday's game. But you see, DR Congo is not Morocco. It's not Senegal. It's not even Cote d'Ivoire. It's DR Congo. So because it's DR Congo, and because we have Victor Osimhen and now Benjamin Fredericks, I'm confident we can make it through.
You go fear confidence now. There's There's no way we are going to have this conversation and not talk about our goalkeeper situation. Um, see, my voice has calmed down now. It came down for a reason. Ever since we lost our goalkeeper, I've forgotten his name now, to illness some years ago.
Carly Keme.
He came exactly. Carl came. It's been a bit of a struggle. It has honestly been a bit of a struggle. We've gone full circle. We've gone 360 degrees, and we've settled for Stanley Nwabali, who, if we're also being honest, his first few games for the Super Eagles instilled the kind of confidence we had lacked for a long, long time. But in the last few games of the Super Eagles, Stanley Nwabali has been problematic. Um, his touches a few times today were bad. His decision making not good enough. The way he almost cost us a goal, I think twice, with the Gabonese guys closing him down, and probably on another day could have nicked a goal off him as a result of his, would I say, lack of tidiness, so to speak. Um, Unfortunately, it feels like we do not even have a better option, on the bench. But Fisayo, is this a worry? How big of no, it's a worry, but how big of a worry do you think it is for Sunday?
Well, I don't think it's a worry at all for Sunday. If you tell me for AFCON or for the future, but for Sunday, what's happening to Stanley Nwabali is a case of when, for instance, when you are in the world, when you start striking those babes that time, you try to hide your behavior, you try to come as a goodly guy, you know, um, try to be
China, can you
not the
hear
bride.
me?
Eh?
He said,
Can you
"Yo,
hear me?
go on. I'm enjoying this. I'm enjoying this. Go on."
Okay, so it is meant for school. I hope his network is allowing him to listen. So,
He,
like I said,
don't worry.
okay. So, in those years when he was in the world, he checked those babes. He sometimes portray what he not necessarily is. I'm not saying he has ever been a bad person, but you have to be, you have to come across as a very perfect person. So everybody listens to the voice. Everybody, those babes feel the kindness. They feel the benevolence as well. I'm not saying he has grown to be stingy, but they feel it extra that period just to lure them. But by the time they say, okay, let's give it a try, then you start saying that you start saying stuff like, I'm sorry, salary is delayed. I can't send you data money. You know, I'm sorry, I'm being owed by Patterson, so I can't give you transport money when you come the next time. You know, now let's bring it back to what we are trying to say. We have known Stanley Wabali from the MPFL. As far as I'm concerned, till tomorrow, I don't have any fear whenever he's in goal because there is nothing he wants to do that I've not seen before. Let me call the attention of Equiliman to a certain match in Omok. I don't know if you can remember. Go Round FC against Rangers International.
How can I
I
forget?
think the game ended in a 2-2 draw, right?
2-2 draw. Yeah.
Now,
Yes.
Rangers' first goal, I don't know if you remember, it was a free kick from the edge of the box. Actually, both of Rangers' goals were scored by the late Ifeanyi George. It was Nwabali trying to throw the ball, and he stretched outside of his box to throw that ball. He had done it the first time, the AR1, just okay, I didn't catch it this time. Don't worry, I did wait for you. The next time he did it, and from a safe position, throwing the ball to the attack, and a free kick was awarded right on the edge of the penalty box for Rangers International. And if I judge, just obliged. So these things are part of characters that don't leave a man, not at that age. But you just have to pray that he's someone that believes, of course, every footballer believes they know what they are doing. He's someone that has that belief. So even the most erratic, look at Onana when he was at Manchester United, he didn't stop what he's doing. Even now at Trabzonspor, where it seems his form is better, he has not stopped what he's doing. So that's who he is. So whenever Eagles are playing, I remember the game against Benin. That was the next game after he made a clanger against Lesotho. And every time Nwabali holds the ball, I could feel the palpable fear among the fans surrounding me. I'm like, I was telling them in local parlance, and I would just give on ourselves IBP for this guy. The shout on our shout, he go do what he go do. So we just pray that for our own sakes and for the sakes of people among us that can get blood pressure from things like that, he does not do something that will be fatal to our results.
I, I, I kind of agree with you, Fisayo. I'm never really, agitated by Wabali because he's someone I've known right from his days at Go Round FC. I mean, I remember that game against Rangers that eventually ended 2-2. I've seen games at the Crisdera Hotel Stadium where the team manager of the God Sonubo will be screaming at the touchline, shouting, Wabali, what's wrong with you? Have you sold the match? And all that kind of stuff because and as Nigerians, listen, you cannot have it all. It's like a team that wants to play all out attacking football and push the high back line. The disadvantage is that if there's a quick break, you might be caught napping. So,
Yeah,
you
sure.
can't have it all. Yes. So, when you want an eccentric goalkeeper, which is what Wabal is turning out to be, there are about to be mistakes. The likes of Renan Higuita, the likes of Louis Patrick Chilavert, the likes of Jorge Campos of Mexico. These are all eccentric keepers, and they are bound to be mistakes. So I remember joking at the AFCON, which was Wabali's first time with the national team, and I said in local parlance, I said, "Well, I never see anything yet." By the time his feet are firmly planted in that team, I say Wabali would dribble with center circle, they give pass, and listen, that's the kind of person Wabali is. Yeah, so sometimes he might be a second slow on the ball, and those are those moments that people think, wait, he's going to concede a goal. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. He's going to be a second slow on the ball, and the attacker will score. It's going to happen sooner or later. But it takes nothing from the fact that he's the most confident Nigerian goalkeeper right now within the six. The players
Exactly.
are sure that when he's behind them, they can afford to make mistakes, and they're sure Wabali has got their backs, right? He has command of his area. He's not afraid. For the first time in a long time, we've had a player that can, one, challenge the opponents, and two, challenge the referee. Because for some
And
time
even
now, we
challenge
have
his
had a very
teammates.
for a long time, we have had a very soft Super Eagles team. You said that in the WhatsApp
Absolutely.
group some time ago. You said that
Yeah.
maybe because of the fact that a lot of our players did not play the league, we are not born in that. We don't know, but we had a very soft team, always getting bullied on and off the ball. But for the first time in a long time, we have a player that you can't bully him. So the fact that a lot of times he makes us panic is because we really want to panic. In Uyo, when we were, I think, 3 goals up, was it 4 goals? There was a time that 3 goals up or 2 goals looking for a goal. There was a time that Wabali straight out of his area with the fans we are screaming, Wabali, go back, Wabali, go back.
Yeah.
And when
I
I
saw
watch
the
that
video.
video, I'm saying, do these fans really understand football? If you're pushing up, the keeper cannot be in his post because the attack starts from the keeper. So he's going to push the team up by him going up. So the point now is that, yes, Wabali makes mistakes, but he's still the most confident person we have between the sticks right now. And I'm
Absolutely.
sure if we have a chance to talk to the players, they will tell you that when they're in the pitch and they look backwards, their confidence is behind them. And he's going to make mistakes. He will make mistakes. He's going to cut a goal or two. It's going to happen. But even if he does, I'm sure we all know, even the coaches know that he's the man behind the sticks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So at this point, I think that when the man that invites you to his house, right, uh, packs and runs away, I mean, it will not be wise for you to take over his house. You spend time in his house and you go back to your own house. So at this time, having fully dissected the game and even trying to preview the next game, I think it's time we leave Ufoma's house for him. Because he's messaged me that once we are done with the Stanley Wabali's question, we can actually go back home while he shuts his doors from where he is.
No problems. Yeah, it's been a good time. Hopefully, he sorts it. It will be interesting to do this some other times as well. And hopefully, we'll be rejoicing on Sunday. But
Hopefully,
some
we'll be.
uh, no fears about that really, because like I said, it's their period of great tribulations, and they will eventually come out unscathed in the end. And remember, like I tweeted, I have already sent it as a message to the NFF Director of Communications, Dr. Ademola Lajiri, that Wilfred Ndid's yellow card means that he will be suspended for Sunday's game, because
Who's
that's the
that?
second yellow card. Yes, Wilfred Ndidi.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because that's the second yellow card of the campaign. He was yellow carded, I think, against Rwanda in March. If not Rwanda, it was Zimbabwe. It was, I think, against Rwanda in Kigali in March. So the law states that whenever you have accumulated two cautions, you lose the next game. So the question is, why does Eric Chell not even trust Rafael Onyedika at all? So because I've tweeted it, the tweet has gone viral, and then because I included that maybe it's time we see Rafael Onyedika ball at last. So people are telling me that that one go still go start Onyeka instead. So I don't just and because we can always now you have been in the football world for years, and a lot of people the 4-1 they will now say this, but we must not overlook a lot of things that happen. I think leaving Ndidi on the pitch for so long was not right. Apart from the fact that he was being overworked, he was booked in the 7th minute. Yes, now everyone says because he had a good extra time, he had an excellent game. Then we could have paid for one of that. When he was making those two subs of Chukwueze and Lukman, I expected it to be three. Windy debate, no coaches with senior players. So now it is not available. It was only Finidi George that has managed to start Onyedika throughout this campaign. And Onyedika was the best player that day, including scoring a very good goal against Benin. And people watch him in the Champions League, they say, oh, it's good, it's good. He's a player at his peak, but he's not getting to play. While Wilfred Ndidi, who is no longer at his peak, I apologize if that sounds bad, but he's no longer at his peak. We knew when Ndidi was at his peak at Leicester, when top clubs were after him, but here he is as a free agent. Nobody's even touching him. He had to find home at Turkish leagues and Turkish maybe top 4 club, Besiktas. Not even Fenerbahce or Galatasaray could come for him. So I don't know. Maybe we quickly want to touch on that, because it's easy to say that we should leave because Ufoma has left. But if he says we had as much as 80 people listening the other time, then I want to believe that they deserve more information and more top-notch analysis from legends like you.
You see, sometimes when injuries happen or suspensions happen, then you are forced to use players that maybe you wouldn't have naturally used them, or like you said, you don't understand why you don't trust him. It may not be trust per se. It may be the fact that you believe one player gives you what you want. For example, we have a Victor Osimhen scoring. It doesn't mean the coach doesn't trust other people. It just means that he has his top pick. We have Stanley Wabali doing well between the sticks. It means that he has his top pick. But when there's an injury or a suspension like we have now, then he'll be forced to do behind. But like you said, based on comments on your tweets, on what you posted on X, people are saying the man fit go use, Frank Onyeka or whatever. But again, it's the coach's choice. Again, like you said, under Fididi, Onyedika was used, and he had a very good game. And we watched that game. He had a very good game. And the question is that why can't he be used? So maybe this is chance to be used. Maybe not. Because the coach understands that, like I said this morning on radio, it was like getting the second chance in life. When they say goal of a second chance, this was our second chance in life. We missed out on our first chance. We missed the rapture, so to say. And like we missed the rapture, so to say, and we had a second chance in life to get to the World Cup. So you don't want to throw that second chance away. So you're going to have to use your best players. Now, I think that Raphael has more mobility in midfield, right? Because he's younger. I also think he's more confident on the ball, not to take anything away from Wilfred Ndidi. I also think that way. But again, there's someone called the coach of the team. I mean, sometimes we as fans, we as journalists, we see things different from the coach. Now, I may not see from the eyes of a coach. I can only see from the eyes of a man that has watched football for many years, has written about football for many years, and is also a football fan. But probably the coach sees from the eyes of a coach. Maybe he's using sports science data. Maybe there might be things he's using I don't know about, right? But from as far as the eyes can see on the pitch, we think that Raphael should get the chance. And just maybe Sunday will be his chance. Just maybe, we don't know. But there are options. The coach has options. He can tweak his team in whatever way he wants and get a formation that works or a personnel that works. Whichever way it goes, all Nigerians want is that we win Sunday's game and we will be playing some competitive football in March next year. That's all Nigerians want. Really, the average fan on the streets does not care who plays. The average fan will only bother if we don't win on Sunday, or if we are not winning on Sunday, then we will bother. As long as we are going to, after Sunday, we'll be playing competitive football in March and not friendly matches. The average fan on the streets doesn't really care.
All right. So I leave you to sign off because now you're Ghana.
Yes, of course. This is Info Flow TV. If you enjoyed today's session, if you enjoyed the top-notch analysis from the chief football writer of ACLsports.com, you can subscribe to this channel. Don't laugh. That's what you are. That's what you are. That's what you are. And after almost 1 hour of analysis, it's time to sign out. I would like to say congratulations, Pisayo Dairo. Congratulations, Ufoma Igbamuno. Congratulations to all of you watching. Congrats to Nigeria. And of course, hopefully on Sunday by this time, we'll be saying the same congrats. Pisayo, do you have your last words to say before we leave?
Yeah, thank you very much. It's always an honor to be in the midst of the legends. And hopefully, hopefully Nigeria does not deal with Ufoma next time so that we are able to have a very robust and very entertaining time. And like you have said, we hope that they pull through on Sunday so that we all can watch the AFCON without any adino at the back
That's
of
all we're
our
asking.
minds.
Okay, goodbye, everybody. We'll be with you some other time.
Goodbye.